Oh, hi. Wow. Okay. I didn't get much sleep last night. This is my second day at CES, and it's already 7:30 in the morning. I already feel behind because I have an appointment at 9 at the Venetian, and then it's just like every single hour through into the evening. So I got a lot to look forward to, and I got to eat. I'm not going to make the same mistake I made yesterday of missing a meal because that was not a good idea. So I'm going to go get some food, and then I'm going to check out some really cool technology here at the Consumer Electronics Show, and hopefully wake up a little bit. I think I need some coffee as well. All right, I've given you the whole rundown. Let's go. All right, wow. So that was not the best way to start the day. Actually, I had a really great breakfast with a very random person. The place that I was eating was completely full, and one table came up, and he was in front of me in line. He's like, "Hey, you want to sit at a table and eat now?" And we started talking, and this dude is pretty fascinating. He works in an aspect, has worked in the mobile industry for about 40 years, and he designs like high-end Android devices and tablets for celebrities, and it was a real eye-opening conversation. We're going to be in touch and possibly get him on some of the podcasts because he had some stories to tell. Anyways, that set me behind because I was still at my hotel and then waiting for the lift. I mean, it took me an hour to get here to the Venetian, which is where I'm at. So I'm a little late for my appointment. I've now moved that. This is just me being a CES noob again. It's been so many years since I was here, so I obviously forgot how long it takes to get from one place to another. So I'm going to go into the Venetian show floor. I've got a little bit of time to kill now that I've moved my appointment and go see some things. So let's go see. Boy, I'm gonna get lost real quick. All right, I stopped by let's see here, the Vasco booth. This is all about translation using artificial intelligence. Now, the AI that's used on these devices to translate isn't happening on device necessarily. It is sending to the cloud, but thankfully these devices have SIM card connectivity. At least the kind of smartphone looking devices have the SIM card connectivity, of which they have a few different types of these. This is the one that's most recently announced. It is the Q1 translator by Vasco. And essentially what it is, it's a single purpose, well, I mean, it has many purposes, right? It does translation of all different types, but it is a SIM connected translator kind of communicating between languages and can actually do some really cool things because it's all happening in real time. And it's, I think one of the really neat and different things about this is that you can train it on your own voice so that when the translation is read back, it's in your voice, right? And essentially what it is, it's in the timbre of your voice. But they also add in things like inflection, like accents of the language that you're translating to. So, for instance, if I set this up and I train it on my voice, and then I have it translate to Italian, it's going to have a little, like I can't imitate it. I'm just gonna upset people if I try. But it's not just gonna be me, American, dude going, speaking in Italian with my American voice. It's gonna sound like me, but it's going to have kind of the Italian inflection, a little bit more of a localized flair to it. It was actually pretty impressive. I mean, I went to Italy this summer, and I don't speak Italian, but it was kind of neat to hear what it would sound like in my voice if I was really good at speaking Italian. There is a little bit of a lag. This is not out right now. This version, anyways, is not out right now. It's still kind of being in refinement, and they're really kind of working to release it later this year. But it's a pretty interesting device. I mean, you can do, let's see here if I can turn on the screen. It's kind of hard to do multiple things at once, but you can do conversational mode, so I can pop it into there and go ahead and assign it to, right now it's like I could tap the English button and I'm speaking English, and then I would tap, the French button to decide which language I wanted to translate into. And then they had this connected to like a Bluetooth speaker in the room as well, so that we could hear it loudly. But if you were just on the device, it would play out on the speaker. And the idea here is that, yes, your phone can do some of this stuff, but sometimes it's really nice to just have a straightforward device that you pull out that's for a very specific use case. There's the conversational, there's doing a call on the device because it does have a SIM card, doing photo translation, just entering text and getting a text translation on the output. They're tapping into a number of different models depending on the language that it's actually translating. They figured out that certain models are good. Like the example that I got was that certain models are good at translating English to Polish, for example, but that same model isn't as good at translating Polish to English as another model. And so they're constantly kind of comparing these and refining them to pick the right models for the right task so that you get the right kind of output. Very interesting stuff. And this isn't the only device. There's a few others that they're showing off. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and test out the training on my voice so you can get a sense of what I'm talking about with the Translator Q1. And we'll see kind of how this sounds for you, because maybe you're used to my voice kind of like I am. So we'll see how this turns out. Thank you, Thomas. Okay, so first of all, I need to train my voice. Is that right?
Yes, we need to take a sample of your voice to proceed it and make a clone digital version of your voice.
Okay.
It's taking like 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds,
yep.
And then you can use it all the time with 70 languages.
Great. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and do that. So I have to read.
Yeah, you will need to read the statement. I will accept those for you.
Okay.
And I need you to read this statement and try to make it loud because of the background noise. So I will press it for you, okay?
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
I, Jason Howell, am aware that recordings of my voice will be used by Vasco Electronics to create and use a synthetic version of my voice.
So now it's processing, and we'll need like 10 seconds, and your voice will be ready to.
I think it's really smart that the training audio is like absolving of any issues, because it's like, I agree. I agree to whatever it is you're doing.
That's true. Yeah, but actually, we are from Europe, from Poland, and we are quite serious about the privacy.
For sure, you got to be really upfront about that stuff. This forces it. If you're training your voice, you have no choice.
We are cooperating with different companies, like also with corporate clients, so like we a higher level of the security and privacy.
Right, that's really important.
Your voice is ready.
Okay, so let's see here. So I'm going to clip off my thing. Okay, so it's been created.
Yeah, and now we can try to translate.
Okay. All right, I'm here at the Consumer Electronics Show, and I am testing out Vasco's Translator Q1 to see what the quality is in my voice. Let's see.
W porządku, jestem tutaj na targach Consumer Electronics Show i testuję tłumacza Vasco Q1, aby zobaczyć, jaka jest jakość mojego głosu. Zobaczmy.
With English accent.
Excellent. Maybe if I use this a bunch, then eventually I'll know how to speak Polish.
It sounds really good.
That's really neat. I love it. That is super cool. So it did that translation on the fly.
You want to try another language?
Sure. Go ahead and pop that into Italian. I was in Italy earlier this summer, and that probably could have come in handy because I don't speak Italian.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, we're gonna try one more time. I'm in Italy now, and let's see how my voice sounds. Not the most creative setup in the world.
Va bene, ci riproveremo un'altra volta. Ora sono in Italia e sì, vediamo come suona la mia voce.
A voce. That is so cool. I love that it keeps the timbre of the voice. Still adds a little bit of local inflection and kind of accent and everything, so it sounds a little bit more genuine.
Yeah, that's true. Also, if you will give a sample like more enthusiastic or like more quiet or loud, you will have different feeling also with the voice, with the digital version.
Oh, so it will pick up on my inflection as I speak into it. If I'm really excited about something, it will know to translate that.
So you can be more excited when you speak to people with the device too. So
cool. Thank you very much for showing that to me. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
And then the final thing that I kind of want to show off right now is this case right here. This is a more straightforward approach for like an earbud form factor of the Vasco Translator. And if I open this up, you see I've got 2 different earbuds on the inside. Now these, you know, are meant for, and you could connect any number of these. Actually, they were talking about like one person leading a group, and let's say that one person speaks English, and then the rest of the group, every single person in the group speaks a different language. You could essentially have every person in the group each wearing their own of these buds, but this case comes with 2. So the idea is that at least this way it's you and one other person talking, but you know, get as many as you like, I suppose. But anyways, you have this in your ear, and you can do this translation syncing through your phone. I'm not entirely sure if these have a SIM card embedded in them or if all of that is done through the phone. I honestly can't remember. It was a lot of information. But nonetheless, I think the idea of having this like communication device to broadcast widely to a larger group of people is a really compelling idea. And yeah, I could see that being used. Like I did go to Italy last summer. I think at this point I've said that like 3 or 4 times, but there were like group scenarios where we were all walking through the Colosseum or whatever, and I could totally see something like this being kind of handy in a situation like that. Very, very neat. And then, you know, you just pop it into the case. It has like a nice magnetic snap to it when I do that. Just drop it in, it charges, close the case, and we're good to go. There you go. All right, well, that was a lot of fun. Vasco is something that I was definitely looking forward to, and very interested in that. Now I'm on my way to yet another appointment and getting lost, and I'm already hungry. I'm so bad at CES. There should be like a degree in how to do CES right, and I should take a class. Hey, I'm just waiting for a meeting with the CEO of Pinwheel Watch. Let me see if I can pop this around. So you can kind of see, I can't really turn it on right now, but this is a smartwatch made for kids. And you know, there's a lot of smartwatches out there for kids, so it does all the usual things. But you know, we've got the camera down at the bottom, which is kind of interesting, as well as an outward-facing camera up at the top. One thing that's really interesting about this is it has something, it has kind of an AI chat component as well on here. So, you know, for some kids, it could be kind of their earliest interaction with AI, and I wonder, you know, how that goes from like a safety and privacy perspective. Hopefully I can ask the CEO of the company about that when I meet with him. I probably won't have that on video, but I will have an article going up on digital trends with this information and this news here soon. So yeah, this is the Pinwheel Watch for kids. All right, so I moved on for the Pinwheel thing. Now I have to get over to the hall, a different hall, I can't remember which hall, to meet up with Tom Merritt and the DTNS crew to be on the DTNS podcast. In the meantime, I'm getting a ride from the NextBase folks. They've got an in-dash thing that they want to show off, has a little bit of AI analysis. I got to find a guy named Tom. I think that's his name. Too many Toms in my life. Do I look like I'm in a hurry? It's because I am. I went to the wrong area. This is the story of my life at CES. I keep going to the wrong area before I go to the right area. I really got to figure this out. Anyways, there was a, you know, kind of a drop-off pickup area out in front of the convention center, which is different from the hotel, of course, obviously, but the person that I'm meeting up with is in front of the hotel, not the convention center. That's a detail that I didn't really know. Anyways, hopefully this is worth it. All right, we made it. NextBase. Here we go. Oh, in the back. See? All right, cool.
How much do you know about NextBase? And
Well, I mean, I did a little bit of research on the site to kind of understand, what it is and the product, and of course I can pop that around. It'll bump it back here.
Yeah.
But, so essentially, it is the camera that's on the other side of
the ring
the
mirror
display
is
that we're
obviously
seeing.
That. But, so that is our IQ. We launched that 2 CESs ago. We have since launched a new product called Pico, which is essentially a distilled down version of that, which is at a kind of cheaper price point, makes it more accessible to kind of younger motorists or people that maybe don't drive as much. But the IQ is kind of, I would say right now, our hero product. So that is also the one with kind of AI machine learning in it. So I'll give you a bit of background on that product, and then if you want we can talk through Pico too, but to be honest, that one, because it's come at a cheaper price point, it's not as smart as that.
Are both of these new at CES, or are they?
Pico's new at CES.
Pico's new at CES.
IQ technically launched last CES. However, it still remains our hero. It's our smartest product.
Sure.
The Pico is essentially a distilled version of the IQ. So though Pico's new, it borrows technologies from the IQ. And to be completely honest, like, I know all tech brands say they've changed the game and they've revolutionized things, which are buzzwords I absolutely hate. The IQ has introduced many, many world first features to the dashcam category. That is a fact. It's not just us kind of bigging things up.
Sure.
And some of those are kind of more of the smarter features. So traditionally, a dashcam, what it does is you put it behind your wing mirror, and you leave it there, and it records and records and records in 24-hour cycles.
And hopefully you just kind of forget it kind of fades into the furniture until you need it.
Exactly, and hopefully you never do.
Yeah.
But what I always say to people, and it's come up quite a lot at this show, which is such a I think valid point for the dashcam category as a whole, is people always say, oh, I can buy a $20 one at a gas station.
Sure.
Why would I buy, a 50, 60, 100, 150, $500 one? Well, there's a few major differences which I can tell you about, but the main barrier of that initial investment, why would I spend $100? Well, if you have a dashcam for 10 years and you never need to use it, are you really going to regret spending $120 in 10 years time for the feeling of safety and security? No, you're not. Most people, sadly, after 10 years of driving, will at some point have some form of incident. We're not saying major crash, because that's quite rare, hopefully, touch wood. But, a prang where someone pulls out in front of you, someone's skateboarding and losing control of the skateboard, hitting you. Something is going to happen probably where you need to claim on insurance. And that's where dashcams come into their own. They immediately pay them for themselves, because you do not want to lose your no claims bonus.
Your what?
Your no claims bonus.
Oh, your no claims bonus.
A lot of
Okay,
insurer
gotcha.
companies will have things like no claims bonuses, or even if they don't offer a bonus when you don't claim for a certain amount of time, which a lot of insurers do, even if none of that happens, if someone steps out in front of your car and does that thing where they pretend to be hit and you don't have a dash cam, you solely rely on eyewitnesses. You cannot prove it was not you, and you can end up paying. Even if you don't end up paying, your insurance will go up.
Right.
It just because you've done a claim.
Congratulations.
So all those kind of things, reasons why, like I say, you're not going to regret it in 10 years' time spending that $120, even though it's money up front that you might not necessarily want to spend or feel like you need to. Anyway, enough about the dashcam category, because I know it's not really specifically what you're after, but the IQ changed it from that passive product where you can sit and forget about it and just drive for years until you do need it, or months, or however long. The IQ now does all the things that a traditional dashcam does. So right now, all it's doing is recording. However, what it does really kind of introduce to the whole sector, and other competitors will catch up with us, and they are currently trying to develop one of these, but we have been building dashcams for so long that we're kind of ahead of the curve with what we can do. This now monitors your car whilst you're not in it, and that is groundbreaking. So the fact that they're smart home solutions,
Sure.
What those kind of do, we're bringing that to the vehicle. And there's a few really, really key things, and this is where the AI starts to creep in a bit.
It's kind of more ambient, more.
It's exactly that. There's a few things with the battery that I can go into a bit more detail on if you care, but essentially it's quite hard to leave a camera running all the time and not drain your car battery.
Well, that is certainly a question that I had, how you're able to do that.
Essentially what it does is it goes into a low power mode.
Okay.
And what that does is it keeps the camera on just enough to kind of keep the sensor, and we don't like the term radar. We have kind of a brand corporate phrase to substitute radar, but essentially the IQ has a radar going. And when it's in low power mode, it's just enough power to keep that going, but it doesn't drain the battery. It's
Okay.
and
the camera's not rolling that whole time.
Exactly.
It's just a little low power sensor can detect if some random thing seems out of place compared to the
and
standard normal.
That is where, since you mentioned that exact point, that's where I'm kind of getting to, but we'll bring that forward. So the AI aspect of the IQ, which is happening right now, there are other features that are going to come which are more AI focused, but right now what's happening with the IQ is the more IQs that are sold, the more it's learning when it's stationary in the vehicle. If a coyote runs past the car, or you run past the car, if you run past the car on a jog, like exercising, or if you run past the car and key it, all of those little differences in human kind of how it's sensing its surroundings.
Sure.
Every day that gets more and more evolved. So you initially, when you get in, same as a doorbell, a smart doorbell or a smart camera for your home, you set an initial distance that you're happy with. If you park on a drive and you live in, like, I don't know, rural Colorado, and you have a driveway and it's huge, you could set it to like 10 meters before someone gets near your car and it pings. If you live in New York and you park on the curb, you probably only want it, 30 centimeters.
Tiny.
Yeah. So you can set that initial thing. But it also, if you are 30 centimeters away in New York, like I say, the IQ knows it's in a big city and it knows what's happening. So you set the distance, but it will also, there's kind of impact forces that you can set. So you stop getting alerts all the time. So even if
right, because you don't want to be over alerted. I've had that with some of my unspecified doorbell things.
Yeah, where it pings too much.
It pings too much,
Exactly.
and you kind of stop paying attention.
Which you don't want.
And you don't want
the
that.
whole reason you bought it is to stay alert. So
For sure.
again, you can set it to like where someone even like punches your car, or you can set it somewhere where brushes past it, or if someone comes near, and it's your option is for how you set it. It takes a bit of adjustment, and the IQ is always learning, so the IQ will get more and more specific about how it notices its surroundings, depending on whether it's in a big city or what settings you set it to.
And that learning is happening on the device itself, or is that learning being shared amongst the devices kind of out in the cloud?
Both.
Do you set it up to connect to your Wi-Fi when you're parked at home? Or
you can do. That's a really good question, actually. So the IQ has an IoT SIM. And an IoT SIM essentially means your and I's cell phones connect to one cell phone brand tower, so that's why your signal can drop off. The IQ will ping to any signal that's closest to it to ensure you always have it.
Got it.
So that is more valuable than the Wi-Fi. The Pico, for example, one of the reasons we're able to sell the Pico, which is the new version of the reduced version of the IQ, so to speak, that we're selling at CES, that we're launching at CES. The reason that's so much cheaper and we're able to make it smaller is because it doesn't have the IoT SIM. So that product depends on Wi-Fi.
I see.
90% of the time your car's parked outside your house or your work, and it will connect to Wi-Fi, and it will function the same as an IQ with lighter versions of the features.
Okay, and the rest of the time it's synced to, I imagine, to your phone. When you're away, it can do some of that.
It can do all of that. The only thing is, if you're away and you don't have Wi-Fi or a signal, what it will do is it will just log an incident or log anything, and when you get back to Wi-Fi,
dump it.
It will give you the video.
Got it.
That's really the only difference. Whereas the IQ, you could basically in the desert in Nevada, like driving to the next city across, and it would be able to immediately give you either a low or high quality version of the video, depending how good the signal is. But it will be able to give you a video, and you'll be able to live stream. So you can park in Mexico airport, drive to Vegas, and you would be able to check how your car's doing. There's huge things around valets and mechanics taking people's cars, going on a joyride. And then, in fact, when we were testing the IQ in England, that's another difference between us and our competitors, I should say. Most tech is made in Asia. We have components that are made in Asia, but we design and we test all of our products in the UK, which is huge when it comes to actually being used in a user case like in the States. You have weather change, day or night, you have winds, snowing, and then suddenly it can rain, and then suddenly it can be sunny again. All these things wreak havoc with cameras. So we can guarantee, because we test so thoroughly, we crash test as well, which none of our competitors do, if you can believe it. So if we crash into that car at a high speed, you do not want that flying into your face, which can happen.
For sure. How does it affix to the window?
So it's a glue pad, and that's the speaker bit at the top slides in securely. We can show you at the other end if you really want to
But
kind of get into the nuts and bolts.
I got
of it.
video and it's dynamic and I could just kind of go like that.
You've got it.
But yeah, it's behind the visor.
But essentially,
for the video.
we can guarantee that every single one of our products, not just the IQ, will not go flying off the windscreen. Because again,
That's
like
important.
like you said, you know, you bought your non-named doorbell to keep it secure, not to annoy you.
Yeah.
You bought your IQ to monitor your car.
Sure.
And if you do have an accident, you want to be able to show the license plate in front. If it goes flying off during the accident, it has not met its purpose.
You've missed
so
the
little
money
things
shot.
like that, the testing that we put into our products is tier 1, and that is not carried out by our competitors. We know that, and none of our competitors can guarantee it will not go flying if you have a high-speed accident.
Yeah.
And again, that can be detrimental when it comes to the courts following said accident. You know,
Sure.
you need to prove you weren't at fault, the other person was, blah 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 blah.
Yep.
And you know, a lot of times what happens in insurance things as well is someone's uninsured, someone's drunk, they switch sides. So that happens a lot anecdotally. I can tell you that I know people that have been able to show dashcam footage and say, no, she wasn't driving, he was driving.
Oh, interesting.
You see? So
yeah,
and
right.
again, all of that kind of stuff, you can't prove that if it goes fine. So essentially, our cameras are made for vehicles. The IQ itself is smart. It's always going to be on that screen. And if someone breaks into your car, if someone, you know, tries to even come up and peer into it, it's your choice how aggressive you set those settings.
Yeah.
But that's where the AI kind of learning really comes into its own. So I've really skipped over a lot of the core functionality that IQ offers in terms of car and things like that. I've really skewed it towards AI. But that's
okay.
basically my understanding of, I think, what you might be interested in.
For sure.
If you really want to delve into more of the AI stuff and how the IQ's learning and other features that are upcoming with AI in the future, I suggest swinging by the stand, because again, I'm a PR guy. Sam's your man in terms of like really getting into the nuts and bolts of how that works behind the scenes.
Yeah, no worries. So where is I mean, I guess I can look it up in the app.
So we're
but-
West Hall. If you enter from the West Hall, we're literally the second stand in. It was crazy yesterday at 10 a.m. We were there at 9 and it opened at 10. It was like going to war. Like there was this like crowd of people like,
Yes,
like trying to get
that's often how it is.
And the second the floodgates opened, everyone just came to our stand.
That's
It was-
awesome.
So like the first 2 hours.
That's what you want, really.
Oh, it was great, but the first 2 hours were so stressful.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
But yeah, so essentially we're down there. That's West Hall, and we're the second stand as you walk through the door.
Okay.
So you can't miss us.
Right
And we've
on.
got 2 cars on our stand to showcase the products in.
To showcase this
in
one
situ.
as well as the Pico.
That's right,
Which I'm
exactly.
imagining is just smaller.
The
and-
Pico is smaller and it doesn't have the kind of speaker bit you see there. And
Okay.
the Pico is mounted in a new an Ineos Grenadine, which is an American-made vehicle.
Okay.
And we're soft launching a partnership with them at this show. So there's more to come there, but you'll see the Pico kind of situated in the vehicle.
Cool.
Parked up there.
That's super neat. And I got to give you props for the idea of doing these rides, because when you think about CES, the magic of CES, I'm imagining from your perspective, is to get as many people to have focused time with your message, with your product.
Absolutely.
And how much like more focus can you get than sitting in the back of a car talking about the technology that's in the front seat?
It's tough. I didn't know that like Las Vegas is kind of so condensed. I thought there'd be more time. I don't like just spilling brand messaging at people.
Sure.
I
Totally.
like it to be natural, but I've kind of had to condense the pitch over the days because I know how.
I mean, you've got like
little
15
time
minutes
I have.
basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You've done a great job.
But it's the other thing is, and I think even taking it back from kind of introducing you to the product.
Yeah.
What we really want to do, especially in the States, where I'm from in England, it's becoming increasingly common to see dash cams here. It's not. I only really see them
it's
in
not
Ubers.
as much.
We just want people to get used to seeing them in cars. That's like half the battle. To be honest, whether it's a NextBase or a Garmin or any of our competitors, obviously I want it to be NextBase, but I still would rather there just be dash cams in cars than not, because they are safer. The only thing then becomes, if you're all buying $20 ones on Amazon's, those aren't fit for purpose eventually. But at least you break the barrier, you got one, and then when you've needed to, you've learned, okay, I need to invest in a better one.
Yeah, exactly.
See?
From that
Right?
perspective, then you know why you
need
might
one.
need to invest in
look,
better
in
one.
my opinion, more dash cams mean safer roads, and it just
Yeah.
does. Like, we've got data, from elsewhere. We've been doing this a long time. Like, we just know it's better to have them than not.
Right on.
So
Thanks.
this is the
Tom.
best drop off for the central hall?
For the central, cool.
Okay, I'll find my way. I can make it
Is
happen.
that cool? Listen,
Yeah.
thanks so much for your
Thank you
time.
so much, Tom. That was awesome.
I'll stick in here if we drive
you
west,
wanna
if
go
that's
to the west?
cool. Yeah, all right, cool.
All right, you're going to continue on. I'm going to
Yeah,
get out and
that's
rush
all
off to a
right. Yeah.
podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Whew, okay, that was a 15-minute drive, a lot of information. I hope you like that. I mean, that's AI coming into the car with dash cam technology. That's pretty neat. Now I gotta find my way through the hall to find the DTNS crew. I'm supposed to do a podcast with them in 20 minutes, and I haven't eaten lunch. Do you see a pattern here? There's like a pizza stand over there, but I don't even have time to go there. I gotta get inside and find my way through. Another thing I'm noticing while I'm walking on my way to the DTNS recording is just, man, this expo, conference, whatever you want to call it, it's just massive. And I know that that's like obvious, but when you're here and you start to need to go to places and get to places fast, I mean, you realize just quickly how, I mean, it's Vegas. Nothing is scaled the way you're used to. Everything is big. And so everything just takes an insane amount of time. Oh my goodness. Goodbye, Discord! Oh! Daily Tech News. It said Daily Tech News. It should say Daily Tech News Show, because that is the show. And I was just on it, and it was a lot of fun. So, go to dailytechnewsshow.com to see today's episode. But now I'm on my way to another booth. I haven't eaten any lunch. So, wish me luck to not die. And then over here you got the wall of fake servers. Oh boy, stuff's crazy, y'all. I'm at the Mudra booth, and I have been spending some time getting familiar with the Mudra band, and actually you can kind of see. There's how you spell it. Mudra, the Mudra band, and this is all about gesture controls. And it's in this case, it's in a kind of like a watch form factor. If you think about XR, you think about AR, VR, all those, or even, wearing like a Project Astra glasses or whatever. Often with these devices, they're reliant on hand tracking. So that requires usually some form of a camera to be set up to detect your hands and, to be able to interpret what you're doing with them, right? There's some limitations in that. The field of view, it's got to be within the window of its detection, and of course, kind of the distance away from the camera. You might move back too far, and that control won't be picked up. Well, what the Mudra band does is very different. You can kind of see. Let me see if I can. There we go. You can kind of see underneath. These little sensors lay against the skin, kind of on your wrist area. If you imagine I was wearing it, it would lay against my wrist. And each of those little dots is kind of completing a circuit to tap into kind of your nerve bundles, 3 different nerve bundles running through your wrist. And so the person who I was speaking with essentially kind of illustrated that when I get someone to move my finger, my body sends no signal to my hand to move my finger. And in that case, there would be no signal sent to the Mudra band. When I decide within me to move my fingers like this, I'm sending a signal through my body that's traveling through the nerve bundle and resulting in the finger closing. Now, the band is not picking up on, sensing that the finger's closing. It's actually detecting, it's picking up the information traveling through the kind of that neural pathway. I hope this makes sense. And so that's actually really kind of interesting, right? Like it's not detecting that the skin is moving or anything like that. It's doing something a little bit deeper. There's a full CPU in here, and actually there was earlier this morning a partnership with TCL for their AR glasses. So sometime later this year, TCL is going to sell a version of these glasses, which these are definitely like a prototype version. They're a little chunky compared to what I was told anyways, that ships with the Mudra band in the box. He actually said the glasses won't even work if you're not wearing the Mudra band, which is interesting. But these themselves, as I'm looking at them, are a binocular, sorry, I'm managing a lot here, a binocular version. Yeah, looking a little chunky, but by that I mean I've got, you know, a little display there, a little display there. It's not fired up for me right now, but we're seeing a lot more form factors like this. What do you think? And so that's coming sometime in the future thanks to the partnership with TCL. I'm going to see if I can set up my camera and do a little bit of control with the Mudra band just to kind of show it off. Let me
Right hand or left
this. I'll do right hand.
Right hand? All right.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so I'm going to get Mudra'd up.
okay, so you can stand a bit closer here.
Okay.
And this goes here.
Doesn't have to fit like super.
It has to be snug, but it doesn't have to be tight. It should be
It doesn't
comfortable.
strangle. It doesn't have to strangle.
So let me know if it's comfortable or not.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty
It's okay,
comfortable attachment. Yep.
So these are your dual signals. And you can...
Okay. Almost feel like this type of control would be good for like music of some sort.
I can actually show you in a second. We have some presentation for that.
Woo! I can max it out, get some square waves going.
Let's have you use it. Now it's on.
Okay. Okay. Oh, yep. Okay, so now I could go boop and pull. Whack, 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 whack. Let go. Can I grab with all hands? Yes, I can. Oh, that's really neat. Okay.
And also play some music. So you press it and move right and left.
Trying to give it a little bit of flair. It's not working quite so well, but that is really neat. That's super cool. So this is what sunlight feels like. Just kidding, I actually really like the sun. It feels really nice. Check this out. There in the distance. It looks a lot larger to me than it does through the camera, but it's the sphere over there. Looks pretty neat. And actually at night it's pretty rad. I was invited to go to a show there this evening, and I wish that I could, but I had already RSVP'd for an event and a product that I kind of, have already lined up to cover. So I gotta go there instead. But I would really love to go to the Sphere for the show. I think it's like a Darren Aronofsky thing. That sounds really cool. Anyways, bummed to miss it, but miss it I shall. I am now at the South Hall, which means that throughout today, I have been in the South Hall, the Central Hall, the North Hall, the Venetian, and let's see here, 9,300 steps, which honestly, the most important step being the last step on that staircase that I almost fell off of. I honestly thought I would have more steps on my watch than I do. So that's a little disappointing. But anyways, I'm on my way to meet up with someone about something. I hope it's cool, and if it is, I'll show you what it is. Okay, I'm at the Natura Umana booth, and I'm taking a look at some earbuds, some wearables. Yes, artificial intelligence wearables. Go ahead and pop this around and down so you can actually see. These are the earbuds, and as they were explained to me, they were explained as the kind of device that you want to keep in your ears as much as possible throughout the day. Now, that's a tall order, and I did mention this to the CEO who's kind of showing this to me, Carlo, that it would be a tall order for me to want to keep something like this in my ears at all time. But kind of going through the story here of why you might want to do that. Essentially, what they've created are these AI people, is what they call. And right now we're seeing the phone interface. If I was wearing this, I could tap the side and it would call one of my AI people, in this case, Athena. Athena has certain strengths. They have all these different people with different kind of strengths, different focuses that you might want to talk to about your daily life. And actually, I thought this was interesting because I'm not an iOS guy. Apparently, if you're using WhatsApp, you see this as well. This is just how iOS goes. When I saw this, I was like, oh, so you're making a phone call to your digital people. And he's like, yeah, that's just the way it works on iOS. So that's my dumbness when it comes to iOS. But anyways, if I go ahead and hang up here, and you can see this is just kind of an example of the information that is interplaying between the earbuds and these AI people. If I go back out here, I can see all of these different examples of different AI people that have different focuses. If I go into Athena is an AI fitness coach, and so Athena has been trained around kind of fitness aspects of life and meant to kind of represent a human that's very knowledgeable in fitness. Hector is an advanced AI therapist in cognitive behavioral therapy. So this might be, a people or a person that you talk to about how things are going in your life. And then nature, which I was told is, one that gets used quite a bit. And kind of just a more of like a general approach kind of person to converse with. And so the goal here is, as you're wearing the earbuds over time, and as you interact with the buds over time, then the different people, depending on which ones you have kind of opened a conversation with, start to learn more things about you, and they learn kind of an information source. And I'm wondering the profile. Can I see the profile? So, okay, so agent memory is activated, so it collects that information. I asked if certain pieces of information about me can be shared across from people to people or person to person. Said not quite yet, but maybe at some point. Yes, you can interact with all of your LLMs, but you've got all these different characters and different focuses for these characters. And I wish I could get into, there was a place where it kind of showed all of the different characteristics or the details about me, if this was my device, that it holds on to, that it knows, but I'm not seeing that right now, so I can't show that. But ultimately, the idea is that essentially what they're trying to do, from my understanding of what he was explaining, is that they're trying to imitate what it's like when we have people in our lives that get to know us really well, right? When we first meet them, they don't know us very well, and over time in our interactions with them, they get to know us better. And so if I know someone for a year, that person's probably going to know me a lot better than someone that just met me or known me for a week. And that's kind of the idea here. I did ask, can I give it pieces of information about me specifically so it doesn't have to learn it? And he said, yes, you can also, potentially in the future, they're going to, I don't think this is rolled out yet. Well, actually, it's still a wait list, so it's not even released yet. And I think I'm going to get a prototype to be able to do some testing and review of. But at some point, it might be possible to speed up the learning process by setting it loose on the internet and saying, what can you learn about me if you scour the internet? I was like, that sounds interesting. But anyways, it's more like building a public profile of you. And then each of those people, creates a specific profile for you about certain things. So if I query it about something fitness related, it might even recognize and be like, I'm the wrong person to talk to. Let me transfer you over to them. And it's all done in this call interface. The benefit of this device, I think, really stems from the fact that you're using it and wearing it all the time. And I think that, just looking at it right now, I think that's one of its bigger hurdles. But anyways, it is Natura Humana I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Let's see here. There we go. Natura Umana. And yeah, pretty interesting AI wearable. Cool stuff. All right. Where am I now? I am Resorts World. I've never been to Resorts World, but this is where the DTNS kind of meetup is happening. And I had an hour before my next event. It's now like 6 o'clock p.m. So I figured, you know, take a lift over and check it out for a bit. So I'm on my way there. Definitely starting to feel a little tired. And I have at least another 3 hours of my evening. And then I get to be an old dude and go home home to the hotel and go to sleep. But not until I publish this video. And see, meetup with the DTNS crew. See it happened. I'm here before I have to leave for the next thing. All right, I know it's really dark in here, but I'm going to try something really interesting with this bundle of lights here at the UnifyDrive event at the Velveteen Rabbit.
You have a magic effect inside. Okay? Now. Okay, now. Perfect. And now we're gonna do a second shot, a different one.
Okay.
We're gonna do like you just hold it with your hand like that. Okay?
Just a single hand.
Yes. Okay. You guys are on YouTube and Instagram. Now.
Yeah, it is.
I like the odds.
Yeah? Good. Right on. That was easy. I'm a model. Yeah, I would love to see. Thank you so much. That's so awesome. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see here. I gotta get this thing to reoriented. All right.
That's you.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that's so neat.
Yes. Looks cool, eh?
I love it. Yeah. Right on. All right, so I'm done at the UnifyDrive event. Ryan Hager and saw a whole bunch of cool anti-police folks. Will Saddleberg was there, sat down with him, had a chat with him and a few of his colleagues. And, yeah, just, it was a lot of fun. The Muse Drive is kind of like it's like a NAS. It's like a portable NAS, but they were kind of describing it as like a portable cloud. So you're not putting all of your media content as a creator into the cloud. It's like a cloud that you control. And it's a little device. I actually have a review unit, so I'm going to check that out on my own. But if you can't tell at this point, I'm just really fried. It's like 10 o'clock. And, there were some of the, Max Weinbeck was there, and I was talking with him, and he's like, after this, we're going to go here and here and here. I'm just like, dude, I don't have the energy for that. Like, I'm going home, and I'm going to turn this video around and go to bed. So, anyways, that's what I'm going to do. I think this is the last thing that I'm going to record. Thank you for following me all day on this CES adventure. I do have one more day here, so it's going to be interesting. But I just really don't have anything else at this point. So I'm going to say goodbye to you all. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to